Hello friends, thank you for joining me today. This is my first wrap up for 2026. These are going to be all the books that I read in January, and there's not a lot of them, and they all were audiobook reads. And that is primarily because of the first book that I'm going to talk about, and let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So that first book, the longest book that I read in January, was Alchemised by SenLinYu, narrated by Saskia Marlveld. And this is, if you weren't aware, a dark fantasy about a woman named Helena, who is the last surviving member of the Resistance, whose memories of the time leading up to her capture by the enemy necromancers are missing. They're hidden in some way, and Helena is taken to the estate of the High Reeve named Cain Farron, who's tasked with unlocking these memories because there's a chance that she holds important secrets of the Resistance that would be useful to them. And this was about a 2-star for me. And I had no intention of reading this book. I had actively seen it, knew it was coming out, actively decided not interested. But it was a book club pick, so I went ahead and got it on audiobook. And I think that more than anything else, this book was too long for what it accomplished. It should have been edited way down. The audiobook was almost 36 hours long. The physical copy is over 1,000 pages, and it's divided into 3 parts. And the first part you spend, it's like 300 pages. Basically, you are stuck with a miserable Helena being tortured and wanting to kill herself, occasionally interspersed with these huge, egregious, inelegant info dumps about the world that just really just do not do the pacing any favors in this book. Then the second part is a ginormous flashback where the author, in my opinion, failed to make me forgive or like Farron, the love interest. And then the third part wraps things up, in my opinion, anticlimactically. The writing itself, like the prose, was fine. I like straightforward writing, so it was like easy to read, and it did have some moments that actively held my attention, like there were some kind of cool action scenes. And the audiobook narrator was good, but overall, this was too long, and I don't like the Helena Cain Farron pairing. And if you happen to not know as well, this book is a rewrite of a popular Harry Potter and Handmaid's Tale fanfiction called Manacled. But this Alchemized, this version was scrubbed of all of those direct references, and I think that it suffered because of that. I can spend a long time going into why I didn't enjoy this book very much, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. Wasn't a big fan, just not for me. But that is why I only read a few books in January, because all of my time was taken up focusing on finishing this book at a very fast speed, because I just wasn't feeling it, but it was very long, so it took me a long time. All my free time was spent reading this versus anything physical or on Kindle. I just tried to focus all my time on finishing this book. And obviously it isn't that I'm incapable of reading and enjoying long books, absolutely not. If you've seen any of my past videos and know the kind of high fantasy books that I read, I can read and enjoy a really long book. This just wasn't it. The Passengers by John Mars. I listened to the audiobook, which has like 6 narrators, so I'll put their names on screen. And this is a speculative thriller where self-driving cars are on the rise and on the way to replacing human-driven cars, and this takes place in the UK. And one day, several individuals' cars are hijacked at the same time. They can't get out. They can't control the car, there's nothing they can do, they're stuck inside, and a hacker's voice tells them that in a few hours they will probably be dead. This was a 4-star, a fairly high-intensity thriller, fast-paced, but still interspersed with sort of like kind of fast-tracked character work as you get to know the trapped passengers and learn the secrets that they're all keeping. And aside from just being kind of an entertaining, fun time, it's about like human biases, corruption, the ethics of AI, about like crowd psychology and behavior, some various things that I find very interesting. I think that there were times where the drama of it all got just a little bit stale. Like, it's like, okay, yes, I get it. Like, there's just kind of a lot of little cliffhanger chapter endings, lots of just very ominous dialogue from the hacker when I just kind of wanted my curiosity to be satisfied already. But I guess like that's kind of how it goes with thrillers, so it didn't like really hamper my enjoyment. The audiobook was great, well done. It was nice having all the different voice actors to differentiate the characters, and they were all very distinct characters. And you know, I gotta say, it was a fun, engaging, just kind of perfect little palate cleanser after listening to Alchemised. And the last thing that I read this month was The Wild Huntress by Emily Lloyd-Jones, narrated by Moira Quirk. I did check out the audiobook from the library, but I do have the physical copy. And this is a YA fantasy based on Welsh mythology. And it's about these 3 young people who wind up working together as a team to participate in an event between 2 allied kingdoms called the Wild Hunt, where the winners will be granted a boon by the other king, who is the king of the Fae. And each of them has their own reason for joining the hunt and the secrets that they're trying to keep hidden. And this was a 3.5 star. Unfortunately, it was the ending that really brought down my rating. The first half is slower paced, but has good world building and character stuff. You're kind of getting to know the main characters and their motivations. There are 2 guys and 1 girl, and they find their way to the Wild Hunt, which actually takes place in like the second half. And this takes place in the same world as the author's 2 other books, The Bone Houses and The Drowned Woods, both of which I enjoyed. And all 3 of them feature an animal companion that is just really great. And in this one, it's a cat named Peleg, who is delightful and wonderful. The hunt was cool. The Fae in this book are akin to like Holly Black's Fae, which I enjoy. There was this undercurrent of like almost polyamory going on that I'm kind of sad didn't really seem to go anywhere, but I was just in general enjoying the dynamic of the trio. It was all good stuff, and then something happens near the very end at like the almost like the 85% mark, and the thing that itself that happens I didn't have a problem with, but something about the way that it was done, like the immediate aftermath, the way that the characters react or like didn't react, I don't know, it just didn't work for me. I don't think it was done very well. I don't think that I was feeling the emotions that the author intended the reader to feel. I just got kind of annoyed and confused, and it just really brought things down for me. I think I rounded this down to a 3 on Goodreads. I think it's a 3.5. I didn't round it up. I don't know. So sadly, I didn't love it, even though the majority of it is good. This is definitely my least favorite of the 3 standalones in this world, but if she ever writes more, I definitely will still read them. And those are all the things that I read in January. That is like one of my least number of books read in a month in a long time. Yeah, so those are the things I read. I am about to head into recording. Actually, this kind of works out nice. It's a little shorter video, but I'm about to go into recording my kind of 2025 retrospective video where I just kind of talk about how I felt like 2025 went, looking at some stats, and just kind of seeing where I want to go in 2026 for my reading. So yeah, short video. I hope you enjoyed. And I don't know, let me know if you have read Alchemised. It's very hot right now. It's been kind of interesting looking at the ratings of this because this had super high ratings. It's still super highly rated, but over the weeks recently, I have seen the rating start to slowly drop a little by, 0.01%, every once in a while. I think that as that book reaches a wider audience, people that weren't diehard fans of Manacled are kind of getting a hold of this, and it's, there's some issues with it. If you love it, that's great, but I don't know, let me know if you've read it and what you enjoyed or didn't enjoy about it. Kind of curious to hear your thoughts about that. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!